4:32 a.m. Chinenye knelt on the cold cement floor, 7 months pregnant, scrubbing. Her knees were raw and bleeding. Her back screamed in pain. Her swollen belly pressed against her thighs as she walked in the darkness. The compound had to be spotless before Mama Adaeze woke at 6:01 a.m. That was the rule. It is our culture, Mama Adaeze always said. But this wasn't culture. This was torture. And the woman torturing her had no idea that in 2 weeks she would lose everything: her title, her respect, her freedom, because tradition has a long memory, and the wicked mother in law was about to meet her match. Stop. Quick question: have you ever dealt with a wicked mother in law? Or know someone who has? Hit subscribe if you have. Comment yes or no below, because this story, it's for everyone who's ever been tortured by family and told it's just our culture. If you don't subscribe now, you'll miss the best part. Subscribe. Now let's continue. Chinenye dipped the rag into the bucket of cold water, wrung it out, and kept scrubbing. Her hands trembled, not from cold, from exhaustion. 2 years. 2 years since she married Obina, the man she loved. 2 years of this hell. She wiped sweat from her forehead with the back of her hand and kept walking. The sky was still dark, the village still asleep, but Chinenye, 7 months pregnant, malnourished, and broken, was on her knees scrubbing her mother-in-law's compound. Because it is our culture. The back door opened. Chinenye's body went rigid. Mama Adaeze stepped out into the dim morning light. 58 years old, heavy set, draped in an expensive George wrapper even at this ungodly hour, gold jewelry glinting at her neck and wrists. She surveyed the compound like a general inspecting her territory. Her eyes, cold, calculating, cruel, landed on Chinenye. You missed a spot. Chinenye looked at the area Mama Adaeze pointed to. It was clean, spotless. Yes, Mama, Chinenye whispered. She crawled over and scrubbed the already clean spot again. Mama Adaeze watched for a moment, then turned and walked back inside without another word. Chinenye's hand shook so violently she dropped the rag. She picked it up, kept scrubbing, tears mixed with the dirty water on the ground. An hour later, the sun finally rose. Chinenye limped into the outdoor kitchen to prepare breakfast. Her husband, Obina, appeared in the doorway. 28 years old, handsome, educated, weak. Chinenye, his voice was soft, guilty. She didn't look at him, just kept stirring the yam porridge. You should rest. You're 7 months pregnant. This is too much. Your mother said breakfast must be ready by 7 o'clock. Chinenye interrupted quietly. But you were scrubbing since 4 a.m. I heard you. Then why didn't you stop her? The question hung in the air. Obina opened his mouth, closed. It looked away. She's my mother. She knows our traditions better than your mother is killing me, Obina. Chinenye finally looked at him, eyes hollow. And you're letting her. Chinenye, don't say that. Mama just wants you to learn. Learn what? How to suffer. I've learned, Obina. I've learned very well. She turned back to the pot. Obina stood there for a moment longer, then walked away, like he always did. Chinenye stirred the porridge and said nothing. What was there to say? Her husband loved her, but he loved his mother's approval more. Breakfast was served at 7 a.m. sharp. Papa Adaeze, Obina's father, sat at the head of the table, 62 years old, titled Ichi in the village. Silent, always silent. Mama Adaeze sat beside him, already dressed in full traditional attire as if expecting visitors. Obina sat across from them, and Chinenye stood, serving. She placed a plate of yam and eggs before. Papa Adaeze. He didn't acknowledge her. She placed a plate before Mama Adaeze. The woman examined it with narrowed eyes. The yam is too soft. I'm sorry, Mama. And the eggs are overcooked. I'm sorry, Mama. Mama Adaeze pushed the plate away in disgust. Take it! I cannot eat this rubbish. Chinenye picked up the plate with trembling hands. Our culture says a wife must know how to cook properly, Mama Adaeze announced to the table. If you cannot cook, what use are you? Papa Adaeze said nothing, just kept eating. Obina looked down at his plate. Chinenye stood there, holding the rejected food, a pregnant belly visible beneath her faded wrapper. Go and eat that yourself, Mama Adaeze waved her away. Since you made it so poorly. Chinenye walked to the outdoor kitchen. She sat on a low stool and ate the rubbish breakfast she'd woken at 4 a.m. to prepare. It was the only food she'd get until evening because tradition says new wives eat after everyone else has finished. That afternoon, Chinenye walked to the village stream to fetch water. 2 jerrycans, 20 liters each, 7 months pregnant. Women at the stream whispered when they saw her. Hey, look at Obina's wife. So thin, so tired. Mama Adeze is too harsh on that girl. But what can we do? She is titled woman. We cannot question her. One older woman, Mama Nkiru, approached Chinenye. My daughter, are you well? You look sick. I'm fine, Mama, Chinenye lied, filling her jerrycans. That baby. Mama Nkiru touched Chinenye's belly gently. You're too thin. Are you eating? Chinenye's eyes filled with tears. I eat, Mama. Mama Nkiru's face hardened. That woman is wicked. I don't care if she's titled. What she's doing to you is not culture, it's cruelty. Please, Mama, don't say that. If she hears, let her hear. Mama Nkiru raised her voice. I am not afraid of Lolo Adaeze. I was in this village before she married into it. I remember. She stopped suddenly. Her eyes went distant. You remember what, Mama? Chinenye asked softly. Mama Nkiru looked at her for a long moment. I remember when Mama Adaeze herself was a young wife, and the things she did. She shook her head. What things, Mama? Never mind. It's all talk. Mama Nkiru helped Chinenye lift one jerrycan onto her head. Just know this, my daughter. The proud will fall. God does not sleep. Chinenye walked home slowly, water balanced on her head, pregnant belly heavy, body exhausted. She didn't know what the old woman meant. She didn't know that across the village, in Chief Okoro's compound, something was happening, something that would change everything. Chief Okoro sat in his parlor, reading a letter that had arrived that morning from the general hospital. Medical records he'd requested 3 weeks ago, old records from 1999, 25 years old. His hands shook as he read. Patient, Neoma Adaeze, deceased. Cause of death, cardiac arrest. Additional notes, high levels of digitalis found in bloodstream during autopsy. Investigation inconclusive. Family declined further inquiry. Digitalis, a poison derived from foxglove plant. In high doses, it causes heart attack that looks natural. Chief Okoro had suspected for 25 years, but there was no proof. The family, Papa Adaeze specifically, had refused investigation, said his mother died peacefully, wanted no scandal, and so the case was closed. But Chief Okoro never forgot. He was a young elder then, only 35. He'd watched Mama Adaeze at the funeral. No tears, no grief, just relief. And within 6 months, she'd taken over the household completely. Titled herself Lolo, even though she hadn't earned it. Became the respected elder woman. Built her reputation on a grave. Chief Okoro folded the letter carefully. Then he picked up his phone and dialed a number. Mama Ngozi, it's Chief Okoro. I need you to come to my house tomorrow. The old woman's voice was frail. What is this about, Chief? It's about Mama Neoma, Obina's grandmother, the woman who died 25 years ago. Silence. Then, you mean the woman who was poisoned? Chief Okoro closed his eyes. Yes, Mama, the woman who was poisoned. I have waited 25 years to speak, Chief. I'm 80 years old now. I'll be dead soon. Before I go, I must tell the truth. The New Yam Festival is in 2 weeks, Mama. We will call a special council, and you will testify. And Lolo Adaeze, Chief Okoro's voice hardened. Lolo Adaeze has hidden behind tradition for 25 years. She's tortured that poor girl Chinenye using culture as a weapon. But tradition has a long memory, Mama Ngozi. And in 2 weeks, tradition will turn against her. He hung up, stood, walked to his window. From here, he could see Chinenye struggling up the path from the stream, water on her head, belly swollen, body breaking. And he could see Mama Adaeze's compound, large, well maintained, built on lies and blood. Enjoy your last days of respect, Lolo, Chief Okoro whispered, because very soon everyone will know what you are. Not a keeper of tradition, a murderer. That night Chinenye lay on her mat on the cold floor. Obina slept in the bed above her, their marriage bed, that she wasn't allowed to share. Tradition, Mama Adaeze said. Her hand rested on her swollen belly. The baby kicked. She whispered to her unborn child, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you're being born into this suffering. A tear rolled down her cheek. She didn't know. She had no idea that in 2 weeks everything would change, that the festival was coming, that secrets were rising from graves, that the woman who tortured her had a past soaked in blood, and that she, Chinenye, the broken, suffering daughter in law, held the key to everything because 3 years ago she'd saved a life, and soon, very soon, she would discover whose life she'd saved and wish to God she'd let her die. The next morning, Chinenye woke at 4 a.m. as usual. Her body screamed in protest as she rolled off the thin mat. 7 months pregnant, sleeping on a cement floor, her back felt like it was breaking. She stood slowly, one hand supporting her belly, and limped toward the bathroom. That's when she saw it. Blood on her wrapper. Not much, just a small stain, but enough to make her heart stop. No, 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 no. She pressed her hand to her belly. The baby kicked weakly. Chinenye's breath came in short gasps. She needed help. She needed a doctor. But it was 4 a.m. and Mama Adaeze would be furious if she woke anyone. Chinenye stood in the bathroom, trembling, one hand on her bleeding belly, tears streaming down her face. Please, God, she whispered, please don't take my baby, not my baby. By 6 a.m., the bleeding had stopped. Chineni said nothing to anyone. She scrubbed the compound as usual, prepared breakfast as usual, served the family as usual. Mama Adaeze noticed nothing. Papa Adaeze noticed nothing. Obina noticed nothing. Or perhaps they simply didn't care to look. At noon, while Mama Adaeze napped and the men were out, Chinenye finally allowed herself to rest. She sat under the mango tree in the backyard, one hand on her belly, crying silently. Sister Chinenye, she looked up. A young girl stood there, 12 years old, Adana, the neighbor's daughter. Are you okay, sister? Chinenye wiped her tears quickly. I'm fine, Adana. You don't look fine. The girl sat beside her. You look very sick. Chinenye said nothing. Adana studied her for a moment. My mother says Mama Adaeze is wicked. She says what she's doing to you is not tradition. It's evil. Adana, you shouldn't. My grandmother says something else too. The girl's voice dropped to a whisper. She says Mama Adaeze killed someone a long time ago. Chinenye's head snapped up. What? My grandmother is very old. She remembers things. She says Obina's real grandmother, his father's mother, didn't her die naturally. She says Mama Adaeze poisoned her. Chinenye stared at the child. That's that's a serious accusation, Adana. You can't say things like that. I'm just telling you what my grandmother said. Adana stood. She also said the truth will come out soon at the New Yam Festival. Chief Okoro is planning something. Before Chinenye could respond, the girl ran off. Chinenye sat there, stunned. Poisoned? Mama Adaeze? No, that couldn't be true. Could it? That evening, Mama Adaeze held court in the village square. It was a weekly women's meeting where she taught younger women about proper traditional values. 20 women sat on mats, listening as Mama Adaeze lectured. Our culture is dying, Mama Adaeze declared, standing tall in her expensive wrapper. Young wives today have no respect, no discipline. They want to sleep in their husbands' beds from day one. They want to eat at the table with elders. They want to be treated like equals. Some older women nodded in agreement. But that is not our way. Mama Adaeze's voice rose. Tradition says a new wife must earn her place. She must prove her worth through service. Through suffering, yes, suffering builds character. More nods. Chinenye sat at the back, silent, invisible. When I was a young bride, Mama Adaeze continued, I followed every tradition. I slept where I was told. I ate what I was given. I never complained. And look at me now. I am respected. I am honored because I understood that tradition is not negotiable. Chinenye's hands clenched in her lap. Every word was a lie. But who would believe her if she spoke? Who would dare challenge Mama Adaeze? At the edge of the gathering, hidden in shadow, old Mama Ngozi watched. 80 years old, bent with age, keeper of memories. Her wrinkled face twisted with disgust as Mama Adaeze spoke. Liar, she muttered under her breath. Wicked, wicked liar. A younger woman beside her, Mama Nkiru, leaned close. Mama Ngozi, why don't you speak? You know the truth about her past. You were there. I will speak, Mama Ngozi said quietly. Soon, Chief Okoro has asked me to testify at the festival, and I will tell everything. Everything? Everything. Mama Ngozi's ancient eyes gleamed. How she poisoned her mother-in-law. How she stole her title. How she violated every tradition she now uses to torture others. Mama Nkiru gasped. You have proof? I was there the night Mama Numa died. I saw Mama Adaeze give her the tea. I saw her face when the old woman started convulsing. No shock, no fear, just satisfaction. Why didn't you speak then? Mama Ngozi's voice broke. I was afraid. Papa Adaeze paid me to stay silent, gave me money, threatened my family. I was a coward. Tears rolled down her weathered cheeks. But I'm 80 years old now. I'm dying. Before I meet my maker, I must speak the truth. She looked at Chinenye, sitting small and broken at the back of the gathering. That poor child deserves justice, and Mama Adaeze deserves judgment. Later that night, Chief Okoro received a visitor, Papa Adaeze. The titled man stood in Chief Okoro's parlor, looking older than his 62 years. Chief, I heard rumors about the festival, about investigations. Chief Okoro studied him. What kind of investigations? Iche? About my late mother, about how she died. Silence. You know something, don't you? Papa Adeze's voice trembled. You've always known. Chief Okoro stood, walked to his shelf, pulled out the hospital letter. He handed it to Papa Adeze. The older man read it. His hand shook violently. Digitalis. he whispered. Poison. Your mother didn't die naturally, Ichi. She was murdered. And you know who did it. Papa Adaeze collapsed into a chair, the letter falling from his hands. I suspected, he whispered. God forgive me. I suspected, but I had no proof. And my wife? She said if I investigated, she would leave, take my children, destroy our family name. So you stayed silent. I stayed silent. Papa Adaeze buried his face in his hands. For 25 years, I stayed silent, and my mother's killer walked free. And now, Chief Okoro asked, now that your wife is torturing your son's wife, same way she tortured yours, now that she's endangering your grandchild, what will you do now? Papa Adaeze looked up, tears streaming down his face. I will testify, he said hoarsely. At the festival, I will tell the truth, even if it destroys me. Chief Okoro nodded slowly. The festival is in 12 days. Prepare yourself, because when the truth comes out, everything will change. Papa Adaeze stood on shaking legs. My wife? Does she know you're investigating? No, she suspects nothing. She believes her secret died 25 years ago. But secrets don't die, do they, Chief? No, Ichi, they don't. They just wait. And when the time is right, they rise from the grave. Papa Adaeze walked to the door, stopped, turned back. Chief, there's something else you should know about Chinenye, about who she really is. Chief Okoro's eyebrows rose. What about her? Her family name, Okafor, from Umuna village. Do you know that village's history? Should I? Papa Adaeze's voice was heavy with irony. Umuna village was once ruled by the Okafor royal family, the true traditional rulers of this entire region, until they were displaced by colonial authorities 100 years ago. Chief Okoro's eyes widened. You mean Chinenye is royalty, Chief? True royalty. Her grandfather is the rightful traditional ruler. We just didn't know because the family fell into poverty after the displacement. Chief Okoro sat down heavily. So, Mama Adaeze has been torturing and calling Lobon a girl who is actually higher status than our entire family. Yes, Papa Adaeze's laugh was bitter. My wife abused the princess, called her beneath us, made her sleep on floors and eat scraps. He shook his head. When this comes out at the festival, the murder, the poison, and the fact that she tortured royalty, she will lose everything. Chief Okoro finished. Everything. Papa Adaeze left. Chief Okoro sat alone in his parlor, processing everything. In 12 days, the new Yam festival would begin, and Mama Adaeze, the proud, wicked, murderous Lolo, would face judgment for poison, for hypocrisy, for torturing a princess while pretending to uphold tradition. 12 days, Chief Okoro whispered. Enjoy them, Lolo Adaeze, because they are your last. 10 days until the festival. Chinenye collapsed. It happened in the afternoon while she was washing clothes at the stream. One moment she was bent over the water, scrubbing Mama Adaeze's expensive wrappers. The next moment, darkness. She woke up in the village clinic staring at a cracked ceiling. Dr. Okonkwo stood over her, his face grave. How long have you been bleeding? He asked quietly. Chinenye's hand flew to her belly. The baby, the baby is alive for now. His voice was hard. But you're severely malnourished, anemic, dehydrated. At 7 months pregnant, you should weigh more than this. He pulled up a chair, sat down, looked her directly in the eyes. Who is doing this to you? Chinenye looked away. Nobody. I'm fine. You're not fine. You collapsed from exhaustion. Your baby is measuring small. You have bruises on your knees that suggest prolonged kneeling on hard surfaces. This is abuse. Tears slid down Chinenye's cheeks. Please, doctor, don't. Is it your mother in law? Chinenye's silence was answer enough. Dr. Okonkwo stood, his jaw tight with anger. Lolo Adaeze, please, doctor. If you say anything, it will get worse. She'll, she'll what? Kill you. Because that's what's happening, Chinenye. You're dying, and so is your baby. He walked to his desk, picked up his phone. I'm calling Chief Okoro. This needs to be addressed before the festival. No, doctor, please. But he was already dialing. Within an hour, Chief Okoro arrived at the clinic with three other elders. They examined Chinenye, looked at Dr. Okonkwo's report, read the medical evidence of starvation, exhaustion, abuse. One elder, Chief Emeka, shook his head in disgust. This is wickedness, not tradition. Wickedness. The festival is in 10 days, Chief Okoro said quietly. We will address everything then. But for now, this girl needs protection. He turned to Shenenye. My daughter, you will come stay in my compound until the festival. You need rest, proper food, safety. But Mama Adaeze has no authority over a council decision. Chief Okoro said firmly. You are under our protection now. Chinenye began to cry. Relief, fear, confusion, everything pouring out at once. Dr. Okonkwo helped her sit up. You're going to be okay now, both you and the baby. But as they prepared to move her to Chief Okoro's compound, the clinic door burst open. Mama Adaeze stormed in. What is this nonsense I'm hearing? That my daughter-in-law is being taken from my house? Chief Okoro stood. Lolo Adaeze, this girl collapsed from malnutrition. She and the baby are in danger. The council has decided the council has no right to interfere in my household. Mama Adaeze's voice boomed. That girl is my son's wife. She stays in my house. That is tradition. Tradition does not include starving a pregnant woman, Chief Emeka said coldly. Mama Adaeze's eyes flashed. Who are you to tell me about tradition? I am a titled woman. I know our culture better than... Do you? Chief Okoro's voice cut through her rage like a blade. Do you really know our culture, Lolo Adaeze? Or do you just use it as a weapon? Mama Adaeze's mouth opened, closed. Her face reddened. How dare you? The girl stays in my compound until the festival, Chief Okoro said with finality. And at the festival, we will discuss many things, including how well you truly understand our traditions. The threat hung in the air. Mama Adaeze looked from Chief Okoro to the other elders, to Chinenye, lying weak on the clinic bed. For the first time in years, she saw something she wasn't used to seeing. Resistance. Fine, she hissed. Take her. But when this festival is over and you realize you've been fooled by a lazy, manipulative girl, don't come to me. She turned and stormed out. The clinic fell silent. Chief Okoro looked at Chinenye. Don't be afraid, my daughter. Justice is coming. Chinenye nodded weakly, but inside she felt a new kind of fear. Because Mama Adaeze didn't make threats. She made people disappear. This is getting intense, isn't it? Do you think Chinenye is finally safe? Or is Mama Adaeze planning something worse? Comment below. Type safe if you think Chief Okoro can protect her, or danger if you think Mama Adaeze will strike back. And if you still haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? The most shocking revelations are coming in the next few minutes. Hit subscribe now. You do not want to miss what happens at that festival. Back to the story. That night in Chief Okoro's compound, Chinenye ate her first proper meal in 2 years. Pounded yam, egusi soup thick with meat and fish, plantain, clean water. She ate slowly, tears streaming down her face. Chief Okoro's wife, Mama Obi, watched with sad eyes. Eat, my daughter, you're safe here. After dinner, Chief Okoro sat with Chinenye in the parlor. My daughter, I need to ask you something important. Your family name is Okafor, from Umuna village. Is that correct? Yes, chief. Tell me about your grandfather. Chinenye looked confused. My grandfather is is just a farmer. We're poor people, chief. That's why Mama Adaeze hates me. She says I married above my status. Chief Okoro leaned forward. What is your grandfather's full name? Igwe Okafor, chief. But Igwe is just what people call him out of respect. He's not really. He is Igwe, Chief Okoro interrupted gently. He is the rightful traditional ruler of this entire region. Did you not know? Chinenye's eyes went wide. What? No, that can't be. We're poor. We, your great grandfather was dethroned by colonial authorities 100 years ago. The family lost everything, but the bloodline remains. You, Chinenye, are royalty. Chinenye stared at him in shock. I, I don't understand. Mama Adaze has been calling you lowborn, making you sleep on floors, treating you like a servant. But in truth, you are higher status than her entire family. Chinenye's hand flew to her mouth. Chief Okoro's eyes gleamed. And in 10 days, at the festival, everyone will know, including Mama Adaze. Meanwhile, across the village, Mama Adaze paced in her parlor. Obina sat watching his mother, confused and frightened. Mama, what's going on? Why did the elders take Chenene? Because they are fools. Mama Adaeze spat, believing that girl's lies. She's manipulating them, making herself look like a victim. But Mama, she collapsed. The doctor said, the doctor knows nothing. Mama Adaeze whirled on her son. That girl is lazy, weak. She wants an easy life. That's why she's running to the elders with false stories. Obina stood. Mama, I saw the blood. I saw how thin she is. I've watched you. You've watched what? Mama Adeze's voice was dangerous. Obina faltered. I I just think maybe we should be gentler with her. She's carrying your grandchild. Mama Adeze's laugh was bitter. My grandchild. If it even is my grandchild. Who knows what that girl was doing before she married you? Mama, don't mama me. I know her type. Poor village girls who trap rich men with pregnancy. She probably got pregnant deliberately to secure her place in this family. That's not true. Chinenye loves me. She loves your status. Mama Adaze cut him off. And now she's turned the elders against me. But she will regret it. The look in her eyes made Obina's blood run cold. Mama, what are you planning? Mama Adaze didn't answer, just turned and walked to her bedroom. Once inside, she locked the door, pulled out a small wooden box from under her bed, opened it. Inside were dried leaves, roots, powders. The same powders she'd used 25 years ago on her mother-in-law. Mama Adaze lifted one small vial, foxglove extract, digitalis, colorless, tasteless, causes heart attack that looks natural, especially effective on weak, malnourished, pregnant women. She held the vial up to the light. If that girl thinks she can destroy my reputation, Mama Adaze whispered to herself, she's more foolish than I thought. I've killed before to protect my position. I'll kill again. She tucked the vial into her wrapper. Tomorrow, she would visit Chief Okoro's compound, bring food as a peace offering for her daughter-in-law. And in that food, Mama Adaeze smiled. Problem solved. But what Mama Adaeze didn't know was that someone was watching. Papa Adaeze stood outside her bedroom door. He'd heard everything. And for the first time in 25 years, he made a decision. He walked quickly to his own room, picked up his phone, dialed. Chief Okoro, it's Ichi Adaeze. I need to speak with you. Now, tonight. What's wrong, Ichi? Papa Adaeze's voice shook. My wife just took poison from her box. The same poison she used on my mother 25 years ago. She's planning to kill Chinenye tomorrow. Silence. Then Chief Okoro's voice cold as steel. Don't let her leave the House tonight. I'm coming now with witnesses. We're moving the festival ceremony up. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, but tomorrow, Chief Okoro repeated, before she has a chance to kill again. Papa Adeze hung up, looked at his bedroom door. Beyond it, his wife was preparing murder, and he was about to stop her. After 25 years of silence, after 25 years of guilt, he was finally going to speak, even if it destroyed everything. The next morning would change Umwe's village forever, because tradition was about to turn against the woman who'd hidden behind it, and the wicked mother in law was about to meet her match. The sun rose over Umwe's village, but this was no ordinary morning. By 6 a.m., the entire village had gathered in the square. The emergency council had been called. No one knew why, but everyone came. Chief Okoro sat at the head of the elders' table, his face grave. Beside him sat four other titled chiefs, and in the center, facing them, was an empty chair, waiting. The talking drums sounded 3 times. Silence fell over the crowd. People of Umue's, Chief Okoro's voice rang out. We have called this emergency gathering because a great evil has lived among us for 25 years. Today, that evil will be exposed. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Chief Okoro raised his hand for silence. Bring forth Lolo Adaeze. Mama Adaeze walked into the square, head high, expensive wrapper flowing, gold jewelry glinting in the morning sun. Confident, she had no idea what was coming. Chief Okoro, what is the meaning of this? Her voice was imperious. Why have you summoned me like a common criminal? Sit, Lolo Adaeze. Something in his tone made her hesitate, but she sat. Chief Okoro stood. Lolo Adaeze, you are here to answer for crimes against tradition, against family, and against life itself. Mama Adaeze's confident smile flickered. What crimes? I have followed every tradition. Silence! The word cracked like thunder. Mama Adaeze's mouth snapped shut. Chief Okoro pulled out a document. Let us begin with your treatment of your daughter-in-law, Chinenye. He gestured. Two men brought Chinenye forward, helping her walk. 7 months pregnant, painfully thin, bruises visible on her arms and knees. The crowd gasped. This is the daughter-in-law you claim to treat according to tradition, Chief Okoro said. Dr. Okonkwo, please present your findings. The village doctor stood. Chiefs, this woman is severely malnourished, anemic, dehydrated. She has been subjected to extreme physical labor while pregnant. She has bruises consistent with prolonged kneeling on hard surfaces. If this continues, both she and the baby will die. More gasps from the crowd. Mama Adaeze stood. This is lies. The girl is lazy. She exaggerates. I have treated her according to our culture. Which culture? Chief Okoro's voice boomed. Because it is not the culture of Umuwes. He turned to the crowd. Mama Ngozi, please stand. The 80-year-old woman stood, leaning on her walking stick. Mama Ngozi was here when Lolo Adaeze herself was a young bride 30 years ago. Mama, tell us, what traditions did young Adaeze follow? Mama Ngozi's ancient voice carried across the silent square. She followed none. Mama Adaeze's face went pale. When Adaeze married into this family, she refused to sleep on the floor after 6 months. She demanded to eat at the table. She refused to fetch water when pregnant. She told her mother-in-law that times are changing and modern women deserve better. The crowd erupted in shocked whispers. The very traditions she now enforces on Chene Enye, Mama Ngozi continued. She herself rejected. She was shown mercy by her mother-in-law, but she shows no mercy to others. Mama Adaeze's hands trembled. That was different. I was, you were exactly like Chinenye. Chief Okoro said coldly. But your mother-in-law was kind. She defended you. She protected you. He paused. And how did you repay her kindness? The square went deathly silent. Bring forth the evidence. Chief Emeka stood, holding a manila envelope. This is the autopsy report of Mama Adaeze, who died in 1999, 25 years ago. He pulled out the document. Cause of death, cardiac arrest. But tests revealed high levels of digitalis in her bloodstream. Digitalis, a poison derived from foxglove, causes heart attack that appears natural. The crowd erupted in shock. Lies! Mama Adaeze shrieked standing. My mother-in-law died of natural causes. This is a conspiracy. Then explain this. Papa Adaeze stood. Every eye turned to him. For 25 years, he had been silent. Now his voice shook the square. I am Ichi Adaeze, and I have kept silent for 25 years, but I will be silent no more. He turned to face his wife. You poisoned my mother. Mama Adaeze's face drained of all color. No, you have no proof. I have this. Papa Adaeze held up a small wooden box. I took this from your room last night. The same box you've kept hidden for 25 years. He opened it. Inside were dried plants, roots, powders, and one small vial. Foxglove extract, Papa Adaeze's voice broke. The same poison found in my mother's body. He held up the vial. And last night I heard you planning to use it again on Chinenye to silence her before she could expose you. The crowd exploded in angry shouts. Mama Adaeze stood frozen, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. That I I kept those for medicine, for traditional healing. I never. Mama Ngozi, Chief Okoro called. Tell us what you saw. The old woman's voice was heavy, with 25 years of guilt. I was there the night Mama Neoma died. I saw Ades bring her mother-in-law tea. Special tea, she said, to help her sleep. Tears streamed down Mama Ngozi's face. Within an hour, Mama Neoma began convulsing, her heart racing, her breath failing. And Adaeze, she just stood there, watching, waiting. Lies! Mama Adaeze screamed. She's lying. All of you are lying. Then why? Chief Okoro asked quietly. Did you pay Mama Ngozi 50,000 naira the day after the funeral to keep silent? Mama Ngozi nodded. She paid me, threatened my family. I was a coward. I took the money and stayed silent. She looked at Mama Adaeze with ancient, tired eyes. But I am 80 years old now. I will meet my God soon. I must speak truth before I die. The evidence was overwhelming. Medical reports, witness testimony, the poison box, Papa Adaeze's confession. Mama Adaeze stood in the center of the square, surrounded by the ruins of her lies. I I didn't. You don't understand. She was cruel to me. She controlled everything. I had to. So you admit it, Chief Emeka roared. Mama Adeze's hand flew to her mouth, realizing her mistake. Silence fell. She had confessed. But Chief Okoro wasn't finished. There is one more truth to reveal. Chinenye, please stand. Chinenye stood shakily. Chief Okoro addressed the crowd. This young woman whom Lolo Adaeze has called lowborn, whom she has called beneath our family, whom she has tortured and starved, he paused for effect, is royalty. The crowd gasped. Her grandfather is Igwe Okafor of Umunna village, the rightful traditional ruler of this entire region. The royal family that was displaced by colonial authorities 100 years ago. Mama Adaeze stumbled backward. No, no, that can't. Chinenye is of higher status than your entire family, Chief. Okoro said, you have been abusing a princess while calling her common. The irony crashed over the square like a wave. Mama Adaeze, who built her entire identity on status, on being above others, had tortured someone above her. Chief Okoro's voice rang with finality. But there is still one more revelation. He gestured to the edge of the crowd. An old man stepped forward, Chinenye's grandfather, Igwe Okafor, 85 years old, walking with dignity despite his age. My granddaughter, he said, his voice carrying authority, has one more truth to tell. Chinenye stepped forward, confused. Igwe Okafor looked at Mama Adaeze. Do you remember 3 years ago when you collapsed in Onitsha market? Mama Adaeze's eyes widened in horror. Do you remember the young woman who performed CPR, who saved your life when you were dying? He turned to Chinenye. Tell them, my daughter. Chinenye's voice was soft but clear. It was me. 3 years ago, I was the nursing student who saved her life in the market. The square erupted. Mama Adaeze's legs gave out. She collapsed to her knees. The woman she had tortured for 2 years, the woman she had starved and beaten, the woman she had planned to poison, had saved her life. Chief Okoro stood over her, his voice like judgment itself. You repaid life with death. You repaid mercy with cruelty. You hid behind tradition while violating every sacred value. He turned to the other elders. What is the judgment of this council? Chief Emeka stood. For the murder of Mama Neoma by poison, guilty. Chief Ez stood. For the abuse and attempted murder of Chinenye, guilty. Chief Ugo stood. For hypocrisy, for using tradition as a weapon while honoring none of its values, guilty. Chief Okoro stood last. For crimes against family, against life, against tradition itself, guilty on all counts. He looked at Mama Adaeze, kneeling in the dust, her expensive wrapper trailing in the dirt. Lolo Adaeze, you are hereby stripped of your title. You are fined 10 goats, 10 yams, and 100,000 naira to be paid to Chinenye as compensation. You will serve your daughter-in-law for 6 months as penance, and you are forbidden from speaking about tradition until you learn what it truly means. His voice dropped to a whisper that somehow carried across the entire square. You eat behind tradition, but tradition has turned against you. The wicked mother-in-law has finally met her match, and her match was truth. The village women removed Mama Adaeze's title wrapper right there in the square, in front of everyone. She stood in a simple cloth, stripped of the expensive fabric that had marked her status for 25 years. No gold jewelry, no respect, no power. Just a woman, a murderer, a hypocrite exposed. Chief Okoro's voice rang out one final time. Take her. Two men escorted Mama Adaeze away, not to prison, for the village preferred traditional justice, but to a small room in the community hall, where she would await her sentencing details. As she was led away, she looked back at Chinenye. Their eyes met, and for the first time in 2 years, Chinenye saw something in her mother-in-law's face she'd never seen before. Fear. The crowd dispersed slowly, everyone talking at once, but Chinene stood frozen in the center of the square. Everything had happened so fast. The poison, the murder, the revelation of her royal blood, the market rescue from 3 years ago. She felt dizzy. Strong arms caught her. Obina, her husband, had been silent throughout the entire ceremony, standing at the back, watching his mother's fall. Now he knelt before Chinenye, in front of everyone still remaining. I'm sorry, his voice broke. I'm so, so sorry. I was weak. I let her hurt you. I chose my mother's approval over your safety. I. Chinenye placed her hand on his head, stopping him. Obina, stand up. He looked up at her, tears streaming down his face. Stand up, she repeated gently. He stood. Chinenye looked at her husband, the man she loved, the man who had failed her, the man who was finally seeing clearly. I forgive you, she said quietly, but things must change. I will not go back to that house. Not yet. Not until I know it's safe. I understand. Obina's voice was hoarse. I'll do anything, anything to earn your trust again. Chief Okoro approached them. Chinenye, you will stay in my compound until after the baby is born. Your grandfather has also offered his home. You have choices now, my daughter. You are no longer trapped. Chinenye nodded, tears finally spilling over. For 2 years she had been a prisoner. Now she was free. 3 months later, Chinenye gave birth to a healthy baby boy, 8 pounds, 4 ounces, strong lungs, perfect. She named him Chukwebuka. God is great, because God had been great to her. The birth happened in Chief Okoro's compound, attended by Dr. Okonkwo and village midwives, and standing in the doorway, not allowed to enter but watching from a distance, was Mama Adaeze. As part of her sentence, she was required to serve Chinene for 6 months. She had cooked all the meals for Chinene's recovery, washed the baby's clothes, cleaned the compound, all the things she had once forced Chinene to do. Now she did them herself. The irony was not lost on anyone. 1 month after the birth, Papa Adaeze came to visit his grandson. He held the baby with trembling hands, tears streaming down his weathered face. I failed my mother, he whispered to Chinenye. I stayed silent when I should have spoken. I let a murderer go free for 25 years because I was afraid. Chinenye looked at him, this man who had watched her suffer and said nothing. But you spoke eventually, she said quietly. You saved my life. If you hadn't told Chief Okoro about the poison that night, I would be dead. Papa Adaeze looked at her with red, swollen eyes. Can you ever forgive me? Chinenye was silent for a long moment. I'm trying, she said honestly. It will take time, but I'm trying. Papa Adaeze nodded. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I will spend the rest of my life earning it. He looked at his grandson. This boy will grow up in a different house than the one I created. A house where truth matters more than reputation, where mercy matters more than tradition. He handed the baby back to Chinenye. Thank you for giving my family a second chance. 6 months after the ceremony, Mama Adaeze's punishment was complete. She had served her time, paid her fine, cooked, cleaned, and submitted to the daughter-in-law she once tortured. Chief Okoro called the final meeting. Mama Adaeze stood before the elders, looking older, thinner, humbled. 6 months of service had changed her, or at least appeared to. Lolo Adaeze, Chief Okoro began. Just Adaeze, Chief, she interrupted quietly. I am no longer Lolo. I lost that right. Chief Okoro studied her. Your sentence is complete. You have served your time. But the question remains, have you learned? Mama Adaeze looked at Chinenye, who sat holding baby Chukwebuka. I have learned, she said slowly, that the traditions I claimed to uphold I never understood. I used culture as a weapon. I called mercy weakness and cruelty discipline. She took a shaky breath. I murdered my mother-in-law because I wanted power. I tortured my daughter-in-law because I wanted control. And I hid behind tradition because I was too proud to admit I was wrong. Tears fell. I don't ask for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I only ask for the chance to change, truly change. Chief Okoro looked at Chinenye. It is not our decision alone. Chinenye, what do you say? All eyes turned to the young mother. Chinenye stood, holding her son. She walked to Mama Adaeze, the woman who had tortured her, starved her, tried to kill her, and she said, 3 years ago, I saved your life in a market because that is what healers do. We save lives, even lives that don't deserve saving. Mama Adaeze flinched. Today I choose to save you again. Not your life this time, your soul. Chinini shifted the baby in her arms. You can earn back your title. You can earn back respect, but you cannot earn back trust. Trust must be given freely. She paused. I am not ready to trust you yet. Maybe I never will be. But I am willing to let you try. She gestured to the baby. Your grandson will grow up knowing what you did, but he will also see what you become. Whether you remain a murderer or whether you become something better. Mama Adeze's legs trembled. She reached out toward the baby, then stopped, uncertain. Chinenye saw the hesitation, and in an act of mercy she didn't have to give, she stepped closer. You may hold him, briefly. Mama Adaeze took her grandson in shaking arms. She looked down at his tiny face, and something broke inside her. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry for everything. The baby grabbed her finger with his tiny hand, and Mama Adaeze, the wicked mother in law who had terrorized her family for 25 years, finally, truly wept 2 years later. The village gathered for another new yam festival. But this time, the atmosphere was different. Chinenye sat at the place of honor, recognized now as royalty, respected as the woman who had exposed corruption and brought justice to Umwes. Beside her sat Obina, a changed man, devoted to his wife and now two children. A second baby, a daughter, had been born a year ago. And in the back, dressed simply, sitting quietly, was Adaeze, no longer Lolo, no longer feared, just a woman trying to rebuild what she had destroyed. She had spent 2 years serving in the village, helping younger women, teaching, ironically, about the dangers of using tradition as a weapon. Some villagers had forgiven her, others never would, but she kept trying. Chief Okoro stood to address the crowd. 2 years ago, this village learned a painful lesson. That evil can hide behind good words. That tradition can be twisted into torture. That silence protects the wicked. He looked at Chinenye. But we also learned that truth is stronger than lies, that mercy is stronger than cruelty, and that even the smallest voice, if it speaks truth, can shake the foundation of injustice. He raised his cup to Chinenye, to truth, to real tradition, which is mercy, justice, and love. The village echoed to Chinenye. Chinenye stood, holding her two children, and looked across the crowd. Her eyes met. Adaeze's. The older woman nodded slowly, a gesture of respect, of acknowledgement. Chinenye nodded back. Not forgiveness, not yet, but perhaps someday. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Someone suffering under a wicked mother in law. Someone told to stay silent for the sake of the family. Someone being abused and told it's just our culture. Hate like if you believe Mama Adaeze got exactly what she deserved. Comment below. Do you think she deserves a second chance? Type yes or no and subscribe because next week's story is even more powerful. God bless you. And remember, tradition without mercy is just cruelty in disguise. The wicked will always meet their match, and that match is truth. Mama Adaeze hid behind tradition for 25 years. She used culture as a weapon. She called cruelty discipline and abuse teaching. She murdered to gain power. She tortured to maintain control. But tradition has a long memory, and the same customs she claimed to uphold became the sword that cut her down. She met her match in a girl she called beneath her, who was actually above her. She met her match in a victim she tried to kill, who had once saved her life. She met her match in the truth she tried to bury, which rose from a 25-year-old grave. The wicked mother in law finally met her match, and her match was justice.